I didn't get here because I was extraordinary. I got here because I kept getting back up every single time. Hello, everyone. My name is Sirish Korada. I'm the Managing Director and CEO of BINDZ Consulting Private Limited. I help build companies, but more importantly, I help build people. What you're about to hear isn't a tale of perfection. It's a story of failures, resilience, and one belief that changed everything. If you keep rolling the dice, one day life will be set. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away. Hang on, that's how fairy tales start. But mine isn't a fairy tale, it's life. So here goes. I was born into a Defense Forces family. My father served the nation with discipline and a deep sense of duty. That sense of duty rubbed off on me, but so did the pressure. Expectations in our home were sky high. I was an average student, but I was a great athlete. I could outrun most of my classmates, and I felt like a hero on the sports field. But no matter how fast I ran on the ground, I couldn't outrun the burden of doing something great. Like many middle-class Indian boys with a science background, I was supposed to crack the IIT exam. It wasn't a test. It was the test, the golden ticket. And I failed. Not once, but repeatedly. Each time I walked out of the exam hall, I felt a little bit more shame, a little bit more self-doubt. I didn't just fail an exam, I failed a dream. I failed the one plan my family had for me. There was no plan B. That period broke me. I questioned my worth, my identity, my future. But here's the truth. When you hit rock bottom, things can only go up from there. I had to rebuild. And the first step in that rebuild process was a scholarship to study in Australia. So I landed in Australia with hope in my eyes and barely any money in my pocket. No family, no friends, no cushion to fall back on. It was simple, sink or swim. That country didn't just teach me academics, it taught me life. After washing cars, driving taxis, flipping burgers, and doing so many odd jobs, I learned something that shaped me as a person. It taught me grit, adaptability, and dignity of labor. I learned to respect people for who they are and not their titles. I wasn't the brightest, but I was determined. But that wasn't enough. I needed to land a real job and kickstart my career. So I started applying for jobs. Every morning, I'd open my laptop and apply to anything and everything remotely close to my skill set. And guess what? Rejection started. Dozens at first, then hundreds. No interviews, no calls, just silence. All they would say is, no fresher roles, your India experience doesn't count, no local references, sorry. My patience was waning, my costs were mounting, expectations at home were rising. I didn't want to go back to India empty-handed. Still, I kept applying, clicking, hoping, and then one day I got this email. Can you come in for an interview today at 3 p.m.? That one line changed my life. It was a job for an analyst position in a big bank. They needed someone to start immediately. I didn't care. I finally entered the corporate world. No shortcuts, no favors, no jugaad. I started at the bottom, like everyone else. Over the next couple of years, I realized this was my future. I learned that technical skills itself would not cut it. I need to know the business. I started getting worried. How am I going to carve my niche? How would I grow, stand out, and thrive? And then I met Claude. Claude was a very senior, extremely fit guy. But most importantly, when he talked, everybody listened. We became friends and he mentored me. But what I didn't know at that time was Claude was going through his own demons, his midlife crisis. He wanted to create something of his own. He wanted to bring together a few guys with different skill sets and do it for ourselves rather than the big firm. This was one of the biggest conundrums of my life. Continue with a permanent and stable income job or risk it all with a firm which had no clients, no revenue, and not knowing where my next paycheck is coming from. After analyzing and paralyzing myself over that decision, I decided jobs come and go, but relationships last forever. Over the next few years, this risk paid out. We hired lots of people. We worked on some very interesting projects. And contracting every 6 months of my life didn't scare me. But you know what? every party has to come to an end. The market completely turned. No projects. And during that period, one day, the client where I was working at, the big boss called me into his cabin, and I was mentally preparing for the worst. The end of our contract? But here I got a lucky break. He said he's looking to roll out his 3-hub strategy across Philippines, India, and Australia. He was like, you're from that part of the world. You've got the technical and business skills. Would you help me build the strategy and execute it? It wasn't even a decision. That was the lucky break. I would have to move to India. There was nothing to think about. So, Bangalore, here I come. As years passed, I built credibility, gained experience, grew in stature, and built some lasting relationships. However, nothing could prepare me for what was about to happen next. I just recently accepted a director role at a major investment bank and moved my family to Pune. It felt like a big milestone, a prestigious role. But day one in the office was OMG. Oh my God. The boss I was supposed to report to, he had already left. My new reporting manager, Greg, he was thousands of miles away in the US. And the program I was responsible for had delivered nothing in the last 4 years. Just to add to the challenge, our budget had been cut in half. And the team, I've never seen so many demoralized people in one room. They're talented people, but they were lost, disillusioned, and quietly convinced that this was a sinking ship. I thought to myself, what have I walked into? Why does this happen only to me? But Greg and I, despite being on the opposite sides of the planet, we chose to do the unthinkable. We rolled the dice. We took risks, had tough conversations, mentored individuals, rebuilt trust, and most importantly, we took care of our people. It wasn't glamorous. It was a lot of late nights, impossible deadlines, and the real fear of failure. But slowly, one by one, the pieces started falling into place. After a year of relentless work, the program was back on track. And just as things were stabilizing and maturing, Greg decided to exit. And he handed over the reins to me. I remember sitting in my office, staring at the whiteboard and asking myself, what kind of a leader do I want to be? And I reflected on my life experiences. Over the years, I noticed how leaders behaved, how meetings were run, how hierarchies functioned. And slowly I realized something. In many places, people were disengaged. They didn't feel heard or valued. Bureaucracy was stifling talent. And many didn't know the difference between a manager and a leader. So what did I do? I didn't come in shouting with big ideas. I came in listening. I started engaging with people irrespective of level or title. I made time to understand their struggles, career growth, burnout, lack of mentorship, and even personal issues. In return, they saw me for who I was, not a boss, not a title, but someone who cared. That's when I discovered my leadership style. I wasn't a born leader, but I chose to become one by following a philosophy called servant leadership. It's simple. Serve before you lead. I led by enabling others, by being present, by taking ownership when things went wrong, by speaking last, but listening first. It's not about ego, it's about impact. As time passed and things began to stabilize, Greg, my former boss, he called me. He had left the investment bank and went out and built a startup across US and South Africa. And now he wanted me to launch Sapro India. He wanted me to lead it. Saying yes wasn't easy. I had a secure job, a growing reputation, and a young family. But deep down, I knew real growth lies beyond comfort. So I rolled the dice again. I left the safety of the big corporates and chose the chaos of entrepreneurship. Was I scared? Absolutely. But I believed in the mission. We weren't just launching a company, we were launching a culture. While the industry focused on processes, we focused on people. We built a place where feedback was welcomed, growth was celebrated, and people felt safe, emotionally, intellectually, and professionally. Sapro India grew quickly, and with that success came another leap of faith. We launched BINDZ, another risk, another roll of the dice. Today, I'm happy to say both companies thrive, not just because of what we do, but because how we do it. We chose to build with empathy. We chose people. But choosing people is not a one-time decision. It's a commitment, one that shapes how we hire, how we lead, and how we grow. Culture for us wasn't just a buzzword. It became the foundation of everything we built. Not in PowerPoints, but in everyday choices, everyday conversations. Because you know what the truth is? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can have the best strategies in the world, but if your culture is toxic, you're bound to fail. And even if you have average tools, limited budgets, and tough markets, you can still win if you have the right culture. At BINDZ, we've always said, culture isn't built in boardrooms, it's built in conversations. Every policy, every initiative starts with intent, not optics. We celebrated people not just for hitting targets, but for helping others, and made sure every leader, including me, is accountable. Let me share with you some life lessons that I've learned on my journey. Failure isn't final, it's feedback. Use it. Don't wait to be extraordinary, just keep showing up. Leadership is all about service, not status. People are always greater than processes. And most importantly, keep rolling the dice. You never know what might change your life. I'm not standing here today because I cracked the IIT. I didn't. I'm not here because I was the smartest one in the room. I wasn't. I'm here because I refused to give up. I kept showing up. I'm here because I chose to lead with purpose, not power. I'm here because I rolled the dice, even when I didn't know what the odds were. Look, we all have good days and bad days, but what matters the most is having fun while we do it. So go ahead, roll that dice. It might not work every time, but it'll teach you something that will stick with you for the rest of your life. Thank you, TEDx, and thank you all for your time. If you ever want to talk to me or reach out, go ahead. I'll be out there somewhere in the universe rolling the dice. Good luck, God bless, on your lovely and incredible journey ahead. Thank you.